Okay, this is Mark Cooper at Bury Mansfield. To begin with, Mark, I mean, in your post-match interview at the weekend, you said you tried every combination of forwards. You've got two in the door now. I know you had Giovanni in at the weekend, but you've got Giovanni and you've got Josh March as well. What are you hoping they're going to bring for you?
Giovanni, I wouldn't class as a forward. I'd class him as an attacking midfield player, but he provides assists and the odd goal. And it's important that we don't put too much pressure on Josh too early. He's a young boy who's been working as a pipe fitter and playing football part-time and done particularly well and scored a lot of goals. So we're not going to put any pressure on him. We're just going to let him go and play and enjoy himself. And the one thing I would say is if I was a forward coming into our team, I'd be rubbing my hands together because we have a lot of balls that go across the face of the goal, pull back to the penalty spot, balls that bounce in and around the 6-yard box. So if I was a centre forward coming into this club, I'd be rubbing my hands together.
You talked about Josh and you don't want to rush him. I get that, but is it something that you're putting no pressure on him this season? You want to see how he gels and steps up to full-time professional men's football, or do you think there's something there that can make a difference for you as you look for promotion?
I'm not putting pressure on him by saying I expect him to score 20 goals before the end of the season. I suspect that he will score goals from what I've seen. I know he'll work hard. Obviously, he's got to catch up in terms of full-time fitness. But he will play on Saturday. He will play and be number 9 in the middle of the pitch and lead the line.
What gives you that confidence that you can make that step up? It's a big step in it, 2 steps.
Well, none of the others have took their opportunity when it's come along. None of the others have got any case to say, I should be playing as number 9. They've all had chances to play. They've had chances to score. And if we keep playing like we are, I believe that the goals will come.
Let's talk about other transfers of the week. James Morton and Joseph Wallacott recalled to Bristol City. Carl Taylor recalled to Bournemouth. You've brought back Taylor Allen, so it's been a busy week of ins and outs.
Yeah, James Morton and Jojo were called back at Bristol City. Jojo because there's injuries to goalkeepers, and James because they want to put him in and around the first team because of the way he's progressed here. So we had no say on that. Carl Taylor's loan didn't really work for both parties. Sometimes happens with the first loan. Great lad, good kid, and I'm sure going to have a really good career. And Taylor Allen is another one that we feel can help us in the forward department, not get as much game time as he should at Hereford, in my opinion. And I feel he can help us at the top end of the pitch.
It's no real consolation, but a club recalling a player to play close to the first team because they're so pleased with what you've done with them. That's got to be good.
Yeah, James and Jojo have shown in patches what they can bring, and I'm sure they're going to have really good careers.
When it comes to identifying players in this window, how does it work with the director of football? Are you telling him who you want, or is he saying, I've got this, do you want me to go and do a deal? How does it work?
No, we have a type of player that we want. First and foremost, it'll come down to finance, and then it'll come down to availability. It comes down to do they fit what we want to do. But, you know, I want some more players in the building. You know, everybody knows that. We need cover in certain positions. And we need some more attacking options. And at the moment, for one reason or another, we've not got them in yet.
Do you identify those players and tell him what you want? Is that how it works, that relationship?
It's a really good relationship. Whereas if say we're after a right back, we have certain metrics that right back has to look like, and then Rich will come to me with a list and say, look, there's 4 or 5 here. See what you think, and then we'll try and work through that list and see if we can. Like I say, A, afford them, B, can we get them, C, do they want to come? And it'll work like that.
Just quick look back at the Crawley game. You had a good go in the second half. You said you were passive in the first half. How do you start games the way you did in the second half?
Start throwing teacups, tactics boards, skips, boots, whatever's in my path to try and get the players to have a go. I mean, listen, all I'm asking them to do is pass the ball forward and run for 90 minutes. I'm not asking a lot. And when they do that, they look really good. So if we can do that for 90 minutes, we'll have a hell of a chance of winning a game of football.
You talked about desire. You know, you said you want players to risk injury, risk a broken nose, get in there and actually, you know, go for the ball here. You talked about how you're disappointed with that passion. How do you get that aggression then? from them? I mean, it's all right throwing teacups and tactics balls
that
and
has
stuff.
to
You get
come
it from them.
has to come from within. They come from them. It's not just forwards. That's midfield players, defenders, on set pieces. Hardest thing in the game of football is to score a goal, because there's 11 opposition players trying with everything they've got and their hardest to stop you. So nobody is going to, apart from on very rare occasions where everybody falls over in the box and you get a tap in, you have to work hard to score a goal. You have to make sure you're on the move in the box. If you're a forward, you have to make sure you run across the near post, which is what I ask my forwards to do. You have to make sure that you're in where the boots and heads are flying. And you're not going to get a goal by standing still and looking pretty. You have to be able to get in there and keep running forward. And like I said, risk getting a broken nose now and again to score.
Are you disappointed with the level of passion?
No, I can't fault them. I can't fault the boys for their, on the whole, this season, I can't fault the boys for their attitude and their commitment. And what I said last week by being passive was we were a bit too nice and we were a bit too pretty, rather than having that real drive like we did in the second half to go and win the game, which we should have done after 90 minutes.
What do you make of Mansfield? I mean, they're sitting in a reasonably lowly position in the league. They've got a relatively new manager. What do you make of them?
First and foremost, they got good players throughout the squad. Obviously, they've brought in a new manager who will have a different way to the previous manager. So that brings change. Brings change in training methods and styles of play, whatever you want to call it. And it'll take a while to get used to it. But they've got some good players. They're aggressive, and they'll try and get the ball in our box for certain, and try and hurt us like that. But all I know is if we play well and play like we are doing for large parts of the game, then I believe the goals will come.
Thank you.
Mark, for people who probably watched Leeds United v Arsenal in the week, I thought there was some quite moments in the first half of Leeds United. It did remind me of watching Forest Green, where everything was great, but there was just that final thing missing. Do you feel the two new boys that come in can give it that little bit of a kick?
They certainly can. They certainly can. They've got the ability to do that. Whether they will remains to be seen, but I suspect they will. I watched that game and I was really, really impressed with Leeds. To say they were a championship club, and I think you saw what I was speaking about, not questioning players' commitment and attitude, but desire to run. If you watch Leeds in the first half, that's running forward. I had the pleasure of being sat with an old friend of mine during the week at a game who's now Premier League manager, and I was talking to him for half an hour, obviously trying to pick his brains about the difference. And he said to me, it's the top end of the pitch, where at that level, Premier League, the top end where goals, assists, that's where it's won and lost. He said everything else is much of a muchness, but the desire of forwards to run, or people to run forward and play forward, is incredible, and that's what we need to get.
Yeah. Would you agree you could have seen the similarities in the first half on Saturday?
Styles of play, yeah. The way we play, the way we try and keep the ball and press, yeah. And also, at the minute, the bit that was missing for them was the goals. But I think if you keep having that much territory and you keep dominating games like we do for large periods, then you have to believe that the goals will come.
Yeah. And how has Josh Marsh gelled this week in training? Have you liked what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you ask him, it's the different intensity from where he's come from, part-time football, to the way that we train and try and play with the intensity we train and play out. He was breathing hard on Tuesday and today. So that'll stand him in good stead. He's got really good movement for a centre forward. He wants to run towards the goal. He wants to hurt centre backs in terms of his movement. And from what I've seen, he's got every chance of being a good asset for us. And like I said, if I was a centre forward coming into the team, I'd be rubbing my hands together, because over the last 10 games we've created some really good chances.
Yeah, and can you see that natural goal scoring ability in him? It's something that you probably as a coach can't really coach, can you?
I keep saying that's the bit it's difficult for a coach to do, is to do the final bit, which is the hardest bit, which I've mentioned, as scoring the actual goal, actually putting the ball in the back of the net, because that's a technique that you can't really recreate in terms of a match situation. But he's got the raw ingredients. You don't score 24 goals, or whatever he scored so far this season, at any level, without having some kind of ability.
Yeah, and obviously some people are raising eyebrows about the level he's coming from and the level he's stepping up to. But you just look back in the past, you've got your Jamie Vardy's, your Matty Taylor's, who was Northley and then played in the Championship. So there's clearly no qualms about what he could achieve.
It would have been, there's forwards out there that we could have gone or would have gone for. Players that would guarantee us 15 goals for the end of the season. But like I say, the issue I have is, can you afford them? Will the clubs let them go? And the big thing, will they want to come? Or drop down a level, or come to this level, or come and play for Forest Green? So you have that where you end up begging for players to come, or you go and get players that are desperate to come and show. And that's what we've decided to do. And I think with Josh, then we're getting somebody that's desperate to be a professional footballer.
Yeah. Is location a difficult situation when you're trying to recruit a player? If there's a player you like playing in Yorkshire, is it very hard to get them to sleepy Gloucestershire?
It can be because obviously they have to relocate. It's not the cheapest place in the world to relocate to. Players always like to stick near to where they're from and their families, so you've either got to throw loads of money at them, or they have to have some kind of relationship to the area, like we've done with the Mills boys and people like that. So it can be an issue, yes.
Yeah, just two more from me, otherwise it's going to be the longest interview on record. Are you still looking to strengthen in other areas, and what positions are those, and how many?
Yeah, I still think we need attacking players, or another attacking player that can create and score goals for us, because that's the only thing that's missing, and we need cover in some positions. Like I said, they know want people in, or we know we need people to come to add to the group. We haven't got them yet, and we need to get them.
Yeah, I know you've spoken about the loan players that have gone back to their parent clubs. Have you got any interest in any other players that are likely to leave the football club? Has there been any interest whatsoever?
No. With us bringing players in to the club, we need to make way. And obviously, there's people that need to go out and that are not featuring and play some football. And there's some that are not in the squad at the minute. We've had interest for young Godwin Malifa on loan. And I understand that, he's a good player. And that's something that we'll look at once we know where Shepherd is in terms of his injury last week. But with the others, no, we've not had any inquiries.
Okay, cheers, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you.